here, healthhacksreview.com. I found myself a Health Mate portable type of unit they call a Health Partner. Luckily, I kind of stumbled across this, and so I'm just out here doing a quick video. Just wanted to walk you through this model, okay? Now this model, as you can see, is half size. It's not a full-size sauna that Health Mate does. It does still use the same Health Mate tubing colloid rods that I did a shot of review video of earlier. Now inside of this, of course, this is where you sit, and as we can see, just on top there, there's a little cut opening, and so this kind of reminds me a little bit of Sauna Core's health seat that they have. It's a similar idea, is to send infrared up into the perineum area, and or just to stimulate infrared going to the colon, that type of stuff, to help detoxify. The issue here, though, is that if we look at this, there's a piece of plastic above it, okay, which isn't ideal, and then also there's very, very few holes. So if you actually look at Sauna Core's seat, there's going to be a lot more infrared actually directly coming through the chair. This one, there's just very little area for the infrared to actually pass upwards. So that would be something that I would just take a look at. I would redesign that personally. In the back here, you'll have a few of the actual infrared rods behind this. But if you notice the slats, there's a lot of slat coverings. Now the backrest is comfortable and it is contour ergonomic, but as you can see, there's very little gaps. Okay, now this is not ideal. Really, what I would do is I would take off at least half of these so more infrared can actually pass through directly into the body. So that is something, again, where you're not a lot of infrared. Infrared does not pass that well, really, through wood. So that is an issue. That's something that I bring up with also with the brand Rocky Mountain Saunas, if you've seen that video, where I talk about how they have a huge amount of wooden slats that block a lot of that infrared. So again, that's something I would design differently. Now, sitting inside the sauna, if we can take a look inside here, we'll actually notice that on the right, you'll actually have some infrared emitters. On the left, on the floor, and angled down as well. I don't know if you can see that too well, but it's angled down that way. This is designed for basically mainly warming the lower body, specifically the legs, the upper portion of the legs. You don't really feel much of it, just a little bit on the lower navel area, but it's mainly the legs is what I noticed, the actual direct output. So keep in mind, you feel a little bit of that radiant heat. However, the actual direct exposure of infrared rays probably could be majorly increased by removing a lot of these wooden slats. In the actual Health Mate sauna, the full size, you see, of course, almost no obstructions of wood slats in front of the emitters. But in this model, I think that they probably could improve that greatly by not doing that. So in general, my recommendation is there's a couple other portables on the market that provides you a huge amount of direct exposure of infrared from the emitters to the body, and that'd be a more powerful effect. Now, their reason for heating just the lower body and not the upper body is to assist with the temperature differential in the body, for assisting with blood flow and things like that. And while there are some studies out there regarding that, you have to remember that infrared mobilizes a lot of toxins in the body. And so in your lower elimination organs that are always moving to mobilize toxins and get them out of the body, if you're heating and warming up the lower body and your upper body is much cooler and it's half out, remember, blood flows to where it's cool, okay? And so what that will also do is take a lot of the mobilized toxins and move it to where the blood goes. Look up Sitz bath, S-I-T-Z, bath, and hydrotherapy principles. Been around for a couple thousand years. The goal is to move the lymph waste and all the blood to areas that are cooler on the lower body. So you'll notice in those hydrotherapy principles, they're always warming up the body and then making it very cold on the lower portion of the body. And the colon, just all these areas, are trying to get it very cold to bring all the toxins and everything downwards into the elimination channels. So hydrotherapy principles, the way the body moves, the way you can mobilize toxins, everything on all that history and studies say the complete opposite of what they're trying to convince you of here. So I personally disagree. You're welcome to post a response if you think that I'm kind of off in my thinking. But in general, that is something that I think is crucially important, and I even suggest if you do a lot of infrared therapy or sauna therapy, do a cold plunge on just your lower body and help get all that stuff down and out through the elimination channels. It'll greatly assist you versus the opposite here of what they've positioned you, literally, in the design of their sauna. If you have any more questions about this brand or how it compares to other brands, feel free to reach me on healthhacksreview.com. You can feel free to leave a comment. Thanks for watching.